welcome everyone in this free webinar of CCNP security. As you know that as per the new Cisco syllabus, there are 7 papers. One is a score, one is a VPN, and there are so many other papers. So today we will conduct a webinar on CCNP security. I have choose one topic on from a score paper, and my topic name is nothing but the DSCP spoofing and DSCP snooping. So this is you can say this is from old CCNP also and new CCNP also. This is the same topic. So if you know about the DSCP DORA process, then you maybe know that what we can do when there is an attack on DSCP. So if there is an attack, that is nothing but the DSCP spoofing, and how to prevent that particular attack, that is nothing but the DSCP snooping. Correct. So whenever you have any question, you are free to stop me and you can ask me any question. Today, what is my goal? Today, my goal is to finish the lab as well as the theory. Yes. So I'm going to start the discussion now. You are free to do any discussion. Yes, you are free to ask me any questions. If you have any questions in between, yes, don't hesitate and don't shy. So you can see this is CCNP security S score, and this is my just one lab. I randomly pick up one lab from my lab book, and this lab is lab number 16. So don't worry, if you are completely fresher, still you will get everything from this particular topic. So first of all, understood this term DSCP spoofing. Whenever I am saying spoofing, means there is something like attack, and whenever I am saying snooping, means something like prevention. Yes, prevention or how to mitigate this particular attack. So I have a request that please, if you don't have any question, please be on mute. Otherwise, I have to put everyone on mute. So let me put everyone on mute. Now, if you have any question, you have to say in chat. Now, first of all, quickly, let me go through this term. What is DSCP? So as you know that this thing we learn in CCNA, routing and switching, or CCNA enterprise, that why we need a DSCP. DSCP is nothing but the dynamic host configuration protocol. When you have so many PC in your LAN, and if you want to assign the IP address manually, so that is very hectic and critical task. So to avoid that thing, what we are using one dynamic protocol through which we can assign the IP address to our PC quickly. So DSCP use the DORA process. DORA is nothing but the discover, offer, request, and acknowledgement. It is the process that is used by DSCP, dynamic host configuration protocol. It is used for providing the IP address to the clients or host machine. Here, these are my PCs. It has 4 main stages, and it obtains the IP address from the centralized server. Now, this centralized server is nothing but my DHCP server. So basically, what will happen in this DORA process, all the PC will get the IP address from the DHCP server. I think I have figure over here, so let me show you. So whenever your PC will request any IP address from DHCP server, your DHCP in final stage, your DHCP server will assign the IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, and DNS server. This information is required for any PC, any host to communicate in your LAN or to communicate with the WAN. So my goal is not to explain you the DHCP. My goal is to explain you if there is any kind of attack in DHCP, then how you will prevent the attack. So here you can see that suppose this is my PC, my laptop. You can consider this is your laptop or this is your desktop. So this PC says that help me, I don't have an address. Correct. If you have this PC, and if this PC don't have an IP address, then you cannot communicate with any devices, in network. So what this PC says that I don't have any IP address. Can anyone please give me the IP address? So whenever this PC will say that I don't have any IP address and I need an IP address, so what it will do? It will basically do the DORA process. And that DORA process is nothing but what? That DORA process is nothing but one kind of process which will help your PC to give the IP address. So here you can see the 4 stages. Yes, here you can see the 4 stages. First, your PC will say that I don't have an IP address, so it will send the first message. That is nothing but the DHCP discover message. Just before we have seen the DORA. So out of this DORA, the first message is nothing but the discover message. So your client will broadcast this request, and this request will go to your DHCP server. This is your DHCP server. Now, this DHCP server will reply to your PC. This DHCP server says that how about this address? So the second step is nothing but the DHCP offer. So in DHCP offer, your server says that I am sending you one IP 10.10.10.1 for an example. So your DHCP server is sending one IP address to the PC. So this PC says that can't I use the address I had before? So what this PC says that if this PC is ready to take this IP address, then it will say, okay, I'm okay with this IP address. So it will send the request. That is nothing but the DHCP request. So once your DHCP server will get the request, DHCP server will say, fine, that is okay, here it is. So finally your DHCP server will send this IP and your PC will say, awesome, I am somebody now. So this is the DHCP DORA process. I just explained you quickly because this is the part of your CCNA security or CCNA routing and switching. Now from here, I have a question. At this moment, I have this DHCP server. Now this DHCP server is my genuine DHCP server. This is my genuine DHCP server. But let's assume that this request, the first discover message, may be received by the rogue DHCP server. Rogue DHCP server. Then can anyone tell me what will happen? See, right now, in our case, I am assuming that we have the genuine DHCP server, correct? So if you have, this is your own DHCP server, then definitely your DHCP server will assign the IP address to your PC, and this entire 4 step will be completed successfully. Correct? But what if I have any fraud or attacker DHCP server? Let's say this DHCP server is nothing but the attacker DHCP server. So if this is the attacker DHCP server, then what will happen? Yes, any kind of answer is appreciated. Yes, any kind of answer is appreciated. It doesn't matter you are giving me the right answer or you are giving me the wrong answer. You are free to speak. Yes, let me allow you people to speak. You can speak. This is just a webinar. Yes, this is not your any kind of demo or live session. Yes, niggas, you are free to speak. I allow everyone to speak. You got my question? My question is that what will happen if there is any attacker DHCP server? Obviously, if there is any attacker DHCP server, then your PC will get the IP address from attacker DHCP server. Now, if anyone will speak without any question, then I will remove you. I don't want any background noise from your side. Yes. Anyone? Then what will happen? Someone says that attacker can enter into your LAN. It can harmful for the LAN. Okay, so it's very simple. If any unknown server or if any attacker server will give the IP address to your PC, then your PC will get the IP address from that attacker DHCP server, and your PC will start communicating with them. Correct? We will see this thing in our next slide. So let me show you over here. So this is just an advantage of DHCP server. You know very well, correct? It is centralized network client configuration, easier IP address management, reduced network administrator, and large network support. Now, what do you mean? What do you mean by this DHCP spoofing attack? Correct? Now, can you see this one? This slide is very, very important. Now you have to focus. Whenever you will go for any interview for security position interview, that person will definitely ask you this question, that what do you mean by DSCP spoofing attack? And you cannot believe this attack will happen if you are working in routing and switching, means network engineer. If you're working as a security engineer, nowadays I can say that if you're working as a cloud engineer as well, then also in cloud also we are configuring the DSCP server. So it may be possible that in cloud also you will get this kind of attack. Correct. So thank you so much, Gajanan. Gajanan says that I had faced this question in interview. No problem. Today you will get the 100% sure answer. So here you can see that I am saying that what do you mean by DSCP spoofing attack? Correct. Spoof itself is nothing but something like harmful. So DSCP spoofing occurs when an attacker attempts to respond a DHCP request and trying to list itself spoof as the default gateway or DNS server, hence initiating a man-in-middle attack. Now, if you are not happy with this definition, no worry, focus over here. Now listen to me carefully. This is our genuine PC. This is my PC. Now, this is our DSCP server. I said this is our corporate DSCP server. That means this is the genuine DSCP server. Correct. This is the DSCP server which we have configured for our PCs. Whenever my PC don't have any IP address, my PC will get the IP address from this corporate DSCP server, you can see. And this person is nothing but the attacker. This person is nothing but the attacker. So you can see that attacker, first of all, you have to focus that your attacker is connected with which device? Your attacker is connected with switch. Let's say this is fast Ethernet 0/2. This is fast Ethernet 0/0. And this is fast Ethernet 0/1. So with this switch, I have connected three devices. First, PC is connected. Second, router is connected. And third, your attacker is connected. So here, when my PC will boot up, when my PC will start, at that time, let's say my PC don't have an IP address. So what my PC will do? My PC will send the request to the DSCP server. DSCP server will offer. Then my PC will request and my DSCP server will give the IP address to my PC. This is if there is only client and server. But what if you have attacker in between your PC and your DSCP server? So if there is an attacker in between PC and DSCP server, then what will happen? Then whenever this PC will send the first message, discover message, this discover message will received by this corporate DSCP server, and the same discover message will received by this attacker as well. Now, first step successfully completed. Second step, your server will offer an IP address to your PC. Let's say your server is offering 10.10.10.1. At the same time, this attacker is also sending the offer. Let's say your attacker is sending the 172.16.1.1. Now, step number 2 is completed. Offer is completed. Then this PC will send the request. Your request will be broadcast. So your PC is sending the request. So request will go over here and request will go over here. So after request, before your DSCP server reply, before this DSCP server reply, this attacker will reply to your PC, and your PC will always consider first come, first serve. That means your PC don't know, because your PC don't have an IP address. So your PC don't know that who is the genuine DSCP server. Your PC will take the IP address from the whatever the server who will reply first. So here your attacker is replying first, or your attacker is replying before the corporate DSCP server, and finally your PC will get the IP address from the rogue DSCP server, and after that, whatever the communication will done by this PC, your attacker will get all the information. Now, if you have any question in this process, let me know. I will explain you again. If you have any question in this one, let me know. Abdul, I will explain you again. Yes?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, in our private network, there will be like private IP address.
Yes, so I have written the private IP address. Yes,
Okay.
because in your DHCP server you will configure the private IP address. Private IP address means any range from 10, 72, 192. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir. In if our network we will create an access list of only 10 network IP address. If attacker will assign a 172 IP address, automatically that IP will be dropped out into that router only, no, sir, first.
Where is your attacker connected?
In switch.
Where you configured ACL?
In router.
How you will prevent?
No, sir. After getting 172 IP address to a client PC, then how routing will be processed, sir? If 172 is denied, if 172 is denied in the router.
Correct. You are saying that if 172 is denied in your router, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So here you are saying that you already know that there is a 172 IP address.
Yes, sir.
Correct. So first thing is that you already know that you have IP address 172. Actually, if you have configured 172C, where you will configure the access control list, generally in 99% scenario, we have configured the access control list wherever we don't want any unwanted traffic. Yes. Or the traffic which we don't know. And we configure the access control list on the router where my router is generally connected with which kind of network? We configure the access control list where we don't want any traffic from outside network. Yes.
Yes.
Obviously, yes. Correct. Because you are the network or security engineer and you want to allow the communication in your inside network. Yes. Of course, yes. Correct. On the router where your router is connected with ISP, either you will use the firewall or you will use the access control list. But here in this scenario, you can say one thing. You know what? You can say one thing. If you are saying that I will configure the access control list on this router, then obviously if this PC will send any information from here to here, then your attacker will get definitely that information. Yes or no?
Yes.
Abdul, think technically. Yes. Your attacker does, your attacker don't rely with any kind of routing or nothing. Your attacker will get all the information, whatever the information is shared by this PC. Yes. Let's say this is your manager PC. So manager come into the office at 10 o'clock morning. Your manager PC don't have an IP address. So what your manager PC will do? Your manager PC will start the DORA process. After that, in the whole day, once your manager PC will get the IP address, your manager is sending so many documents to your employee, or manager is sending so many documents to their, to their higher authority, and so many things are going on. So whatever the manager PC will do, or whatever kind of communication your manager PC will do, that all communication will be received by this attacker. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Abdul, you know why? Because you have not configured anything on this switch. Yes.
Correct.
Excellent. But whatever you said, that is excellent. At least you have this kind of question in your mind. Yes. And if you know the access control list, I think as per your question, you know the access control list, correct? Access control list is configured. Access control list. Suppose if you are configuring the access control list on this router, that means here we are saying that this router is connected with some outside network, as I said.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yes.
Now I got it, sir.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much. Now, Abdul, you tell me. I don't want to allow this attacker to connect with my network. So what we will do? That means right now we are discussing about the spoofing. Now, if I am saying mitigation, if I am saying prevention, that means I'm talking about the snooping. See, these two words are very confusing. One is spoof and one is Snoop, yes. First of all, before moving ahead, everyone is clear with this process, that how your PC will get the IP address from the rogue DHCP server. And this kind of attack is also nothing but which kind of attack? We people are saying, we people are using one more term for this kind of attack. Which kind of attack it is? You, by looking at the figure, you will come to know which kind of attack it is.
Man in the middle.
Excellent. This is nothing but the man in middle attack. Why it is man in middle attack? Because this is your source, this is your destination, and in between source and destination there is one man. That's why this attack is also nothing but man in middle attack. Correct? So let me show you something over here. Let me say, you can see now the one of the most frequently asked interview question is